Hello, everybody. Some of you on YouTube and other social media outlets might know me from a program I do with my friend Heath LaBombards, a podcast. This is a new program I've decided to do called Driving with James. Welcome to the inaugural episode. Basically, the idea is just to drive around because I enjoy myself a good drive and just talk about stuff, whatever it may be. Probably get some interesting circumstances because some people around where I live and in America in general kind of don't know how to drive very well, especially here in Missouri. I've got to say, in my experience, a lot of people don't know how the fuck stop signs work. So, yeah, that's interesting. Anywho, on our inaugural, very first show, I've decided to go and see the film Jumanji. I just left the theater. It was excellent. Just further proof that all of those particular actors know how to do their job very well. The Rock, you know, he's not playing a badass type guy. He's in a badass's body, but it, you know, has the courageous fortitude of a nerdy high school kid. So on and so forth. Jack Black playing, you know, the hot chick. Kevin Hart is the big hulking football star, and Karen Gillan as another nerdy high school girl. Very, very good movie. Very funny. Great action. Great special effects. I just really enjoyed it. It was a good time. Nick Jonas. I'm not a big Jonas Brothers fan. I'm not a fan of the Jonas Brothers at all. But his acting career is actually really impressive and surprising to me. The first time I saw him do something, he guest starred on Hawaii Five-0. And if you haven't seen the particular episodes I'm speaking of, might want to fast forward a minute or two, so there's no spoilers for you. You know, if you like Hawaii Five-0, if you don't want me to spoil some stuff, so zip, 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 blah, blah, blah. Anyway, very surprising. He's got a very interesting career going acting-wise, and this is another really good outing for him. You know, I don't know about the music and stuff with the Jonas Brothers and whatnot, but like I said, he's a pretty damn good actor. Very surprising, but it's nice. You know, like I had the same thing with Zac Efron. You know, I do not partake in High School Musical. I probably never will. But Zac Efron has done some pretty fun films and, you know, had some interesting stuff go on. But anyway, Jumanji, very good film, very good, very good. It's just really, really nice to have, you know, one of these sequels or reboots, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's technically a sequel, but you could also consider it to be a reboot in a way because, well, there's no Robin Williams, unfortunately, obviously. Rest in peace, but they do mention his character in the movie, so that's nice. You know, a little throwback to the original Jumanji film starring Robin Williams, which was also excellent. But yeah, it's just one of those films that's just a really good time film. You know, it's not really, it's got stuff, you know, because like it's this eclectic group of people that, you know, you know, the typical high school TV show movie characters that, you know, will never, probably would never be friends in real life, but, for, through circumstances unforeseen, they come together and become, super besties, which is nice. It was actually really fun this time around to be in the game as opposed to the game coming into the real world, which is what the first Jumanji was. So this time we're actually in the game, and they're playing, like I said, they're avatars, they're characters of the video game. And for anybody who's a gamer, there's a lot of, video game tropes in it, so that's fun. If you're like me, a bit of a nerd, a bit of a geek, you like your video games and whatnot, so it's got a lot of video game type of references, just to like archetypes and situations and stuff like that. So that's just really fun. This is a really funny movie. I haven't known Karen Gillan for comedic work, whereas the other actors, The Rock and Kevin Hart, of course, doing Central Intelligence and The Rock's other comedic movies, and then Jack Black, obviously a very, very well-known comedic actor, which is fun because I just watched King Kong the other night, and I gotta say again, like, dude can act. I mean, and especially in this one, because like I said, these guys are they're playing they are characters in a video game, but they all act like their real life counterparts. So you have Jack Black, who's doing this very effeminate voice throughout the film, which is quite hilarious. And there is a wonderful scene where they deal with let's just say the differing parts of the anatomy, if you catch my drift, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. It's just a really good fun time movie. It's got, like I said, great action, great special effects, and it's just really, really funny. It's just a really well-made action comedy adventure film, which is nice because we don't get a lot of adventure films anymore these days. Which is kind of a bummer. I mean, adventure films are just fun, they're just really fun movies, experiences to have, because it's just, it's just, you go on this journey with the characters, and it's like a true adventure film is unlike anything else. I mean, the same is obvious for all genres of film. But the adventure film, there's something about it. There's something about the adventure film that is very precious, I think, because because like I said, it's a journey, but it's unlike other, like a journey that you go on with, like Lord of the Rings, for instance. I would like, maybe the first movie, or the first story, I guess I should say, the first part of the story, the Fellowship of the Ring, like I would say, like, I wouldn't classify that kind of stuff as like, that's as close as Lord of the Rings gets to being an adventure film or an adventure story. The Hobbit is more adventure-y, but the thing is that there's those, like, the dark elements of those films and those stories are way darker. Like, the adventure film will have those moments of great peril, but there's always some sort of element of fun to be had somewhere. Maybe not right exactly in that moment, but directly preceding it, or whatever. It's just, there's something about the way that the true adventure film works that is just is very unique. and it just takes you on a different kind of journey. It's I don't know. I have difficulty explaining it, but so that's as close as I can get. But yes, it was a really, really good time, really good film, and I enjoyed it, which, you know, is great, because I love going to the movies, and I love, you know, enjoying films that I go to see. I'm very, very picky when it comes to going to see a movie in the theaters. You know, I really have to want to see it. I mean, there's a lot of movies that I have that, you know, I want to see, but I'm not necessarily going to spend, you know, the money to go and see it in the theater. Because the theater is more for it. I'd like to think of it as like experience-driven type films, where it's like, excuse me, where it's like you just get a little bit. There's just like films with just a little bit more oomph. You know what I mean? So like, so for instance, the last few films I've seen, the film I saw before this was Star Wars: The Last Jedi, which I also thoroughly enjoyed. I'm not really sure why people have a problem with it. Some people, you know, out there, it's very odd to me. I don't get it, because I thought it was excellent. And the weirdest thing is that it's the first time I've ever gone to see a movie in the theaters having to prepare myself for disappointment. I've never had that experience before, going to see a movie where I was like, you know, everybody's on the internet talking about it, and, you know, talking all kinds of shit and whatnot. And then even my friend Heath from the podcast I mentioned earlier, even him, he had problems with it. And, you know, like, we don't agree on everything, far from it. But one thing we do agree on is that we love fucking Star Wars. And so when he told me, because he got to see it before I did, when he told me that he did not not that he didn't like it, he likes it, it's just that he doesn't love it. You know what I'm saying? And when he told me, like, some of the problems that he had with it, especially after I'd saw it and we were able to do an actual, you know, side-by-side comparison of what we thought of the film, I honestly, you know, I had the same reaction that I did to these people on the internet. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't get it. So for instance, I'll just one little thing I'll tell you about what Heath said. He said that the whole scene, there's a scene where Finn and another character, they go on a little side adventure. And part of this, they go to this planet, you know, some stuff happens. But anyway, there's a scene where Finn and this other character are on this side adventure. I'm not going to give away too much. But he just basically said that whole scene could have been taken out and the film would have worked a little bit better. And my response to that was, well, then you'd have a pretty big plot hole, because you would have no idea how they got from this point, you know, from this point to this point in the film. So just stuff like that, you know, I just don't get it, you know, because really cool movie. Rian Johnson, excellent filmmaker. You know, you'll know him from films such as Looper, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis. And even that, Heath was like, I mean, he hasn't seen it, but he's like, I don't know if I'm gonna see it. And I'm like, dude, it's like the best. It's one of the greatest sci-fi movies ever made. Period. And probably the best time travel movie of all time. I mean, at least yet. I mean, someone could make a better one somewhere down the line, but I don't think there's one better than Looper. I mean, just in terms of dealing with the physics, the consequences of time travel. You know what I mean? Like, just like all this, it's a really cool film, you know. But anyways, other stuff I've seen, you know, I got to see Blade Runner 2049, which that movie is ridiculous. If any of you haven't seen that yet, It's definitely worth spending the 2 hours and 45 minutes to check it out, you know, and it's coming out, I think it's out on digital and DVD and Blu-ray now, if I remember correctly. So it's definitely worth seeing. I mean, you know, again, instant classic. I mean, just fantastic. I mean, mind-blowing kind of stuff we're talking about in Blade Runner 2049. You know, Ryan Gosling, just wonderful actor. I mean, like, especially he's been getting a lot of roles. Well, I guess not a lot. This is probably his third, but he's been getting these roles where he's playing a character that doesn't really talk that much, and he's just got to use, you know, all the non-vocal tools in the kit to get his performance across, and he does it very well. I mean, if you've seen Drive, that he did. That movie is excellent. It's amazing. He also, with the same director, did Only God Forgives, and that movie, you know, people either love it or they hate it, and, you know, I understand why you might not like Only God Forgives, especially if you're thinking that, you know, Nicholas Winding Refn and Ryan Gosling teaming up again after Drive, that you're just going to get like Drive 2 in Thailand, you know. I understand, but two very, very different, vastly different films and two vastly different experiences. But yeah, he's been playing these characters that don't really have a lot of chitter chatter, jibber jabber going on, and it's very interesting because you really get to see how good of an actor he is. You know, when you have to sit through, when you sit through, you know, 2 hours and 40 minutes of somebody on screen, and they have maybe, you know, 80 lines or something like that, which is not a lot. You know, I've been talking a lot now for the past 17 minutes, and you know, I've probably said more words in this 17 minutes than Ryan Gosling said in the whole of Drive. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, you really have to be a good actor. You have to be able to express what you're going through, and I believe that, you know, he's one of these actors that I don't know, the internal mechanisms you can kind of see going. Personally, I like to act, and for me, my secret is, well, it's not really a secret because I'm going to tell you it now, but whatever, I like to try to, find what my character, whatever the character is, thinking in the moment, and actually think that stuff. So, you know, if I'm playing a character who's not a very nice person, you know, and wants someone to, say, kill somebody, I was thinking, because I played this character, while I was playing the character in my head, I was thinking, man, I really want this guy to kill this dude. And it just helps my performance anyway. And that's, I kind of think, what a lot of really great actors do, is they internalize what their character's going through to get to that place. But anyway, yeah, and then a couple other ones I've seen, stuff like Dunkirk, excellent, which again, me and Heath could not have two greater differing opinions than Dunkirk. You know, I mean, it's not that he doesn't like the film. He likes it. It's just that, you know, he's drawn to the aerial scenes, which is fair because they were excellent. I mean, you know, Christopher Nolan, he's just this incredible director that does these incredible things with his films, and it really blows your mind. You know, I mean, the naval stuff, you know, where he's got ships blowing up and capsizing and all this crazy stuff, and it's all in camera, real stuff. And, you know, it's just, you just think like, my God, how does he pull this stuff off? And I don't know either. It's just it's really fantastic. I mean, the Dark Knight trilogy, the stuff that he did with those films is just incredible. But anyway, yeah. So you get what I'm saying. Like, if I'm going to see a movie in the theaters, it's got to be good. Well, I'm gonna start wrapping it up here. We're almost at the end of our drive. Interesting. No incidents on the road. Not having to deal with any stupid people today, which is nice. It's refreshing. But trust me, on one of these episodes, I guarantee you, you're gonna hear me, you know, say some stuff like, "What the fuck are you doing, motherfucker?" It's gonna happen. Because some people, you know, they just don't know how to drive, and it's really frustrating. But anyway, so just to wrap up a little bit here, this show's gonna be different. It's gonna be interesting because it's not just gonna be like this every episode. I'm not just gonna be going to see a movie and then talking to you guys about it while I'm driving home. I'm also, you know, just gonna pop it on sometime, like if I go out to the store or whatever, or if I just want to go for a little drive, and, you know, just talk to you guys about some stuff that's happening here or there. But I hope you enjoy this episode, and I hope you tune into more. And just one final thought before I go. Just got some swag. Got a new hoodie, Punisher, which is so awesome. I love the Punisher. Punisher's my personal favorite comic book character. Not superhero, because he's not a superhero. He's more of an anti-hero, and he's not super because he has no powers. Oh, and my odometer just ticked over. So now on this baby, this car, 98,236 miles. It's been a while. It's oh, excuse me. It's been around a while. But just to continue on the Punisher for 1 minute before I wrap this up completely, I had a weird thought last night about the Punisher. If you've seen the film Machine Gun Preacher, or if you know about the story of this particular individual, he's a really fascinating guy. He's this dude who, you know, he was like a biker and a junkie and everything like that, for those of you who don't know the story. And, you know, he had an awakening and he found God. And then he ended up, you know, deciding to go to Africa to you know, help out. And what happened, though, is he got really, really invested and started going to places that are super dangerous, you know, that, you know, people were telling him, "You're crazy. You should not go there because you're going to get killed." And just started building orphanages and schools and everything like that, you know, with his own money and with, you know, money that, you know, from private donors and such. And I just thought, ooh, that would be really interesting if Machine Gun Preacher, because I don't know about, because the film, you know, he gets a little, you know, he gets his hands on some guns and he's got a whole crew that he rolls with, you know, and he was fighting, you know, in the film he's, you know, doing paramilitary shit to fight against the regime of Coney. And I don't know how accurate all that stuff is, because I don't know I don't know the real dude's whole life story. But I just thought it would be really interesting if that from the film, if that guy from the film, that character from the film, hooked up with the Punisher. I mean, because it would just be a really weird, but I think interesting team up. Because, I mean, Punisher's not a very nice guy. You know, Frank Castle's not very nice. Just to put it bluntly. I mean, his name's, you know, his alter ego, or whatever you want to call it, the name is the Punisher. You know, like Captain America, you know, that name is it kind of fills you with hope. You know, you're just like, oh yeah, Captain America. But Punisher, it's like Punisher, and so, and Machine Gun Preacher, I mean, he's chill with the kids, you know, and everything like that. But you start fucking around with, you know, and trying to fuck up the mix, and he gets kind of pissed off about stuff. And, you know, I just thought, like, wow, wouldn't that be interesting if you had, you know, Frank Castle rocking through Africa or whatever, and he comes across, you know, orphanage that Machine Gun Preacher is taken care of, and, you know, they have to do a team up. I just thought that'd be really interesting. But anyway, enough about me jibber jabbering on. Thank you for watching the first episode of Driving with Jim. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you tune in and watch more episodes as they come. I'm thinking I'm going to try and do at least one a week. Might be more, might be less. It depends on whether I have stuff to say or not. So please stay tuned. If you like the video, if you have comments you would like to leave, you know, maybe you would like to, you know, you have a subject you would like to hear spoken of on this program. And also, I encourage it to, you know, open a dialogue with me, and, you know, let's chop it up. So thanks. If you like it, please click that like button. I would appreciate that very greatly. And if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I am James, and we just went driving. Have a good day.